For today's video, we'll be taking a look at a new micro ATX PC case, the Zalman M5. Available only in black, the M5 is targeted at folks looking for a budget-friendly, high airflow PC case that comes with pre-installed ARGB fans for their micro ATX PC build. Let's see if this case is any good. In terms of packaging, the M5 comes in a brown cardboard box with product illustrations and descriptions on all sides. As can be seen on the screen, the M5 comes with a Ziploc bag of accessories tucked into the storage drive mounting cage. Within the Ziploc bag, we get a packet of assorted screws, 2 spare friction clips for the tempered glass panel of the case, a bunch of cable ties, as well as a user's manual. Here it is, the Zalman M5 unboxed. As mentioned earlier, the M5 is only available in black, where it comes with 4 pre-installed ARGB fans, and it also features a traditional layout with a chamber at the bottom for your power supply unit and storage drives. Materials-wise, the case is made of a combination of steel and plastic with a tempered glass side panel. The M5 features a front panel with a full mesh construction for airflow purposes. While the design's pretty simple, I like how Zalman's included curved edges for all 4 corners of the front panel. This softens the look of the case and certainly adds some visual interest. The case comes with a tempered glass side panel to showcase the insides of your PC build, and as can be seen, the front panel connectors of the case are located right beneath the said tempered glass side panel. We get a USB 5Gbps Type-C port, a USB 3.0 Type-A port, a 3.5mm headphone jack, a USB 2.0 Type-A port, power and hard disk activity indicator LEDs, a reset button that's wired to be an ARGB LED control button for the pre-installed case fans, more on this later on in the video, as well as a power button. I've got to say, this is the first PC case that I've reviewed in a while that comes with a hard disk activity indicator light. Moving on, the other side panel is a simple steel panel with ventilation openings right above the mounting locations for side-mounted case fans. The top panel of the case is not removable, and it has ventilation openings for the cooling hardware that you'd be installing up top, where we get a removable dust filter that's held in place magnetically. The bottom panel of the case has ventilation openings for a power supply unit, where Zalman's also included a removable dust filter. We catch a glimpse of the 2 thumb screws that hold the storage drive cage in place within the bottom chamber of the case, along with its 4 plastic feet that come with foam-like inserts. The rear of the case is a pretty standard affair. 3 out of the 4 expansion slot openings have single-use punch-outs that you'll have to break off. And we get a bracket that's held in place by a single thumb screw, where you can use this said bracket to further secure your expansion card's brackets to the case after you've tightened their respective screws. Let's get the panels off the M5. Zalman's gone with a toolless design for the tempered glass side panel and the side steel panel. The tempered glass panels held in place by friction posts and can be pried off pretty easily, while the side steel panel is held in place by 2 thumb screws and slides off easily once the said thumb screws have been undone and removed. The front panel is held in place by friction posts and, as can be seen, requires some elbow grease to pry off from the chassis. Now, as can be seen, the front panel comprises a plastic frame and steel mesh, where we don't get a dust filter. On a side note, if you're new to the AOK Tech channel, do consider subscribing so as to keep up to date with the latest releases in the PC hardware world. With that, onto the interior, starting first with cooling features. The M5 comes with 4 pre-installed 120mm case fans, where we get 3 normal blade Zalman ZJ1225 BSL-SLD fans with ARGB LEDs on the front panel, and the same model of fan pre-installed over on the rear panel. The specs of the pre-installed fans are as per what you can see on the screen. Now, if you're looking to swap out the pre-installed front fans, you want to note that the case supports up to 3 120mm case fans on the front. Over on the top panel, we get support for either 2 140mm case fans or 3 120mm case fans. If you're looking to install an AIO radiator for your build with the Zalman M5, this case supports 360mm, 280mm and 240mm AIO radiators on the top panel. We also get openings on the side for up to two 120mm case fans. Do note that due to space constraints, you won't be able to mount an AIO radiator on the side panel. Moving to the bottom panel right above the lower chamber of the case, we get support for up to three 120mm case fans. Finally, over on the rear panel, if you're intending to swap out the pre-installed 120mm case fan, you can swap it out for, surprise surprise, another 120mm case fan, or a 120mm AIO radiator. In terms of physical dimensions, the M5 has pretty standard dimensions for a micro ATX PC case. For you folks intending to use an air cooler for your processor, do note that the case supports CPU coolers of heights no more than 180mm according to the spec sheet for the M5. For your graphics card, the case comes with support for graphics cards with lengths of up to 410mm. Onto the motherboard tray, the M5 supports micro ATX and mini ITX motherboards. Do note that the case doesn't support back connector motherboards, so you'll have to make do with standard motherboards with connectors on the front. In terms of power supply dimensions, the M5 comes with 230mm of depth clearance for a PSU, which is mounted in the bottom chamber of the case. For those of you intending to install 2.5-inch and 3.5-inch storage drives for your PC build with the M5, Zalman's included a drive bracket on the rear of the motherboard tray that supports a single 2.5-inch SSD. This is accompanied by a drive cage in the bottom chamber of the case that supports either up to two 3.5-inch hard disks concurrently, or a 2.5-inch SSD mounted on the top of the cage and a 3.5-inch hard disk mounted within the cage concurrently. The front panel connectors of the M5 are a pretty straightforward affair, where we get the usual front panel USB 3.0 Type A connector, a USB 5Gbps Type C connector, as well as a front panel USB 2.0 connector that splices off from a common cable that's shared by a front panel audio connector. We also get the usual front panel connectors for a hard disk activity indicator LED, power LED, and a power button. The M5 also comes with an ARGB hub with a total of 6 ARGB channels, with 4 channels pre-populated by the 4 pre-installed case fans. The ARGB hub terminates in a single 5V ARGB connector and is powered by a SATA power connector from your PSU. Do note that the front panel reset switch comes pre-connected to the ARGB controller hub, such that the reset switch can be used to manually control the ARGB lighting effects of devices connected to the said hub. If you'd like to have your ARGB lighting effects controlled directly by your motherboard, you can use the reset switch to toggle the ARGB mode accordingly. You can, of course, disconnect the reset switch from the hub and connect it to your motherboard instead, so that you can use it as a proper reset switch instead. The pre-installed case fans also come pre-daisy chained, such that you need only hook up one fan connector to the case fan header found on your motherboard. With that, let's do a demo build with the Zalman M5. Getting a micro ATX motherboard into the case, a MSI B850M Mortar Wi-Fi, was pretty straightforward, where we've got ample space to maneuver things around. Installing the power supply unit was a cinch too. Just make sure that the PSU you'll be installing is no more than 230mm in terms of depth, and you'll be all good. In case you're wondering, the Cooler Master PSU that I've used for the demo build measures in at 180mm in terms of depth. The graphics card for this demo builds a MSI GeForce RTX 5060 Ti 16G Gaming Trio OC, which measures in at 300mm by 125mm by 44mm and fits very easily into the M5. With the demo build nearly completed, it's a good time to talk about cable management. The M5 comes with openings in the right places for cable management purposes, where we get strategically placed openings on the motherboard tray and on the top cover of the bottom chamber with which you can route your cables through. In spite of the fact that I did not install side fans, I was still able to conceal the cables somewhat effectively where they weren't really visible from the tempered glass side panel. It also helps that this case has a lower chamber for the PSU and your storage drive, where I was able to stuff excess cables into the said chamber. In spite of the fact that I didn't put in too much effort into cable management for this demo build, I do think that the build still looks pretty clean. And with that, here's a completed demo build with the Zalman M5. In terms of thermal performance, I did a quick performance benchmark with the M5's demo build, where you can see the specs of the said build on the screen. With F123's in-game benchmark, where I ran a 5-lap test for around 9 minutes in total, the Ryzen 5 7600 processor in the demo build achieved an average CPU temperature of around 58.5 degrees Celsius, while the RTX 5060 Ti 16G Gaming Trio OC achieved an average GPU temperature of 67.2 degrees Celsius and an average GPU memory junction temperature of 66.3 degrees Celsius. These results were achieved in an air-conditioned room with an average temperature of around 28 degrees Celsius. A pretty decent set of results, I must say, in spite of the fact that I didn't install any additional case fans on top of the 4 fans that already come pre-installed with the M5. Of course, it's worth noting that the Thermalright CPU air cooler that I used for the demo build's pretty overkill for a Ryzen 5 7600 processor, and the RTX 5060 Ti 16G Gaming Trio OC has a pretty overkill GPU cooler as well. The idle temperatures and estimated noise levels with the demo build are as per what you can see on the screen. And for the thermal tests, I left the fan curves on their stock settings without any tweaks, where the said fans ran at the estimated speeds as per what you see on the screen. Naturally, your thermal performance with this case will vary, especially if you're using different hardware from the demo build in this video. To sum up, my take on the Zalman M5 is that it's a no-nonsense, budget-friendly micro ATX PC case that's good to go out of the box without any additional case fans, especially if you're looking to build an entry-level or mainstream PC with this case. If you're intending to use higher-end components that require a bit more cooling, I think you'd be able to get more thermal performance out of the case easily with side and bottom case fans installed. Aesthetics-wise, it has a subtle appearance that isn't loud and shouty, where I do appreciate the curved edges to add a little flair to the M5's appearance. That said, I do think that fit and finish is a little on the cheaper side of things, which is evident in the way that the panels come together and the finishing of, say, the thumb screws, which can be a little rough. For you international viewers, as of the time of publishing this review, the M5 doesn't seem to be that widely available yet, but for you folks based in Singapore, the M5 is available to purchase from PC hardware retailers in Sim Lim for a price of around 72 Singapore dollars, which converts to roughly 55 US dollars. With that, thank you so much for watching, hit the like button and get subscribed if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys around the next time.